Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show, hour number 2. Brent Stover's here. Brent, the old friend of the show, good guy. Before I get to Brent, I just want to take a couple of phone calls. This call is surprising to me. Smokey in New York. Smokey, you're on the air.
What's up, brother?
Hey, man.
I was going to check you out at Caroline's tonight. And actually, as I walked in there, it was like 7:07. You were already on stage doing your thing. And then, we love you, brother. We love that you come out there. We love this show. Keep doing what you do, man. I love your story. It's inspiration. It
Thank you.
helps me. A lot of people I know, man. For real.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I did.
Don't need you to be all choked up about that stuff, man.
Thank you, man. I did a very weird thing tonight. I did. Me and Daryl Hammond agreed to do a show at Caroline's where we read stories from our books. And I said to Daryl, are we going to let this be like an emotional thing where it's all, he goes, well, it doesn't have to be all comedy. You could do read stories. So I went up there and I started, talking about it. And I got real emotional. Like I looked at the book and I started thinking of the story. I was going to read the story about the morning everything in my life went crazy. And I said, is this a right thing to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I had it prepared. And I couldn't do it. I like really, it's the most emotional I've ever been on stage. Wow. I got out of there and let Daryl get up there and do his thing. But it was really like a very, that's a tough thing to do. Daryl's trying to, do this where he does it on a regular basis where he reads from his book. Because he went through a lot of similar things. But at a comedy club, it's hard to do because you feel like you want to get a laugh every 2 seconds. Yeah. And then when you go into like the emotional part, you're like, wow. That was a very difficult thing, but I appreciate that, Smoke. Thanks.
Dude, we love you, man. I almost missed it. As I got out of the train, I lit up a joint, 2 blocks in. Cops tapped me on the shoulder and said, what are you doing? I said, buddy, I'm going to go to Caroline's. You got a comedy show, Artie Lange, Daryl Hammond. We got to see your ID, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, I just got a summons, and I just made it in. I saw you were on stage. So I made it in the nick of time, but now I'm home in the safety of my house, rolling a fatty and smoking it slow. Listening to you guys. John, you're the best. Buschetti, I love you.
Oh, thanks,
all you guys are the best, man. All right. Keep it up, man.
All right, Smoke. Thanks for coming out. Take care.
Don't stop, man.
Later on, brother.
Yeah, that is a tough deal, man, because that's some serious, pithy, emotional life, lesson type tragedy. And you're at a comedy club, and how do you balance that out tastefully with stuff
it's weird,
that's funny? I don't think it can be done. You can't rectify that situation.
There's jokes I have written about stuff in the book, but they're very much stand-up jokes.
Yeah.
This is like Daryl wanted to, and I give him a bunch of credit. And go check him out if you ever get a chance to. He's trying to do a unique thing where he's like, really reading the poignant stuff from a book. Wow. And, at a comedy, I'm just so used to being at Caroline's, telling jokes. And it was a weird thing. But again, you go through everything on stage if you're in this business long enough. I appreciate the chance to do that. But that was, I said, if I start to cry on stage, this is going to be bad. I can see that on Twitter. Yeah. But anyway, so Brent Stover's here, and Brent, what can we say about sports? It's like nonstop, in our face. Yeah, So what do you go? Give me some predictions here for the football.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I have trouble going against Tom Brady, and his record against Peyton Manning speaks for itself. His record in the playoffs, and I just think it's getting to the point in his career. I'm sure you guys have talked about it, where you're really wondering, is that next Super Bowl going to come? Because his window is shortening.
Right.
And I feel like this is the year for New England.
Tom?
Talking about Tom.
Yeah.
And Peyton's got his one. I don't know if he's going to get another one. But the fact that Tom Brady got those 3 really early, and now it's been 10 years since
he ran into the New York Football Giants. He ran into
twice.
Eli Manning.
Not once, but twice.
I joke about that, but honestly, without Eli Manning in Tom Brady's career, I mean, that's it's perfect.
Yeah.
You're right. It's been a while since he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's been 9-10 years now since they won those 3 right away, but I think it's been since 04.
And the 4th one is a special one because that puts him in with Montana.
Yes.
with Bradshaw, so that's a special.
Yeah, that's why I'm having trouble betting against Tom Brady. That team is unbelievable, though. We say every year that they got these no-namers.
Are you from Boston?
Not at all.
All right.
No, and I root, when I am actively rooting, I'm rooting against them.
Yeah, me too.
But look at the names on defense. This guy Jamie Collins comes out of nowhere last week. I've never heard of him until last week.
Nor I.
He has like a career game. The wide receivers that Tom Brady's throwing to. It's amazing to me that they've done what they've done. I think it's a fantastic story.
I feel like you look at that defense. Dante Hightower is the only guy who's still like alive.
Right.
That started the season on defense for the Patriots.
Well, who is left from the first ring besides Brady?
Wilfork, and he's hurt.
And he's hurt. Is
and
he
that's
the only guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Obviously, Belichick coaching-wise. But, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, look, I mean, also it puts him one ring above Aikman if he gets the fourth one.
Yep.
The fourth one's an elite thing,
Dude, I feel like the Broncos last week, they beat San Diego by a touchdown, but that game could have been so ugly for the Chargers.
Yeah.
We would be looking at this game like it's going to be a blowout for the Broncos. If a few things happen differently in the Broncos game. If they don't have Julius Thomas drop a ball and have them call it a catch and a fumble in the plus territory when they're going in to score. If you don't have your Eric Decker fall down while he's returning a punt for a touchdown.
Both Decker and Welker dropped passes they shouldn't have dropped.
Yeah. Well, then Decker dropped one bounced off his chest in the end zone, and Peyton threw his first interception in the red zone of this whole entire year. Trendon Holiday returns the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown, and they call it back on a penalty. It's like 4 touchdowns.
Which proves my point. Why would anybody sign a white receiver? Again, but Decker and Welker, two of the best.
Oh, and then Decker can't handle the onside kick,
right?
And they get the ball back.
They got one last crack. Yeah,
Denver still won that game by a touchdown, and
they could have blown them out.
It could have
by
been
5 touchdowns.
It could have been by 5. Yeah, and if that happens. And we say, wow, they just took the Chargers, who were one of the hottest teams in the league, and beat them by 5 touchdowns. How is this decimated New England team going to have a chance?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
It's
Denver by 4.5. Both home teams.
All right. So basically, Denver is at home, 4.5. That's still, people say if you give 3 points for being at home. So basically, they think they're 1.5 better.
Yeah.
The books. I don't know.
It's amazing, too, what one injury can do. When Chris Harris, their top corner, went down for Denver, the game completely changed, and that's what brought the Chargers back in because they picked on Quentin Jammer.
I know. Quentin Jammer gave up immediately two passes for 65 yards. And the thing that we don't know is how healthy is Champ Bailey, because Chris Harris replaced Champ Bailey in the slot. Playing slot cornerback is the toughest position on the defense, because when you're playing outside as a cornerback, you've got the sideline to help you. Right. You basically you're giving a guy a one-way go for the most part. When you're in the slot, he can go anywhere. So you have to shadow a guy who's probably the quickest guy on their offense wherever he goes. That's an impossible job. So you had Chris Harris, who subbed in for Champ Bailey when Champ hurt his foot, and he just started doing really well. He got better and better. All of a sudden, he's their best man cornerback, and now he blows his knee out last week. Awful luck. But we don't know. Champ Bailey's back, and they were limiting his reps. Now that they need him, I don't know. Maybe he can go. Maybe they were limiting him as a precautionary thing. Maybe Champ Bailey is going to surprise us all and actually play for an entire game.
I think either way, Tom Brady's going to pick them apart. I'm going both road teams. I got San both underdogs, both road teams.
He likes San Francisco.
I did too. They're red hot, and Seattle offensively just has been uninspiring now for the last several weeks, for the most part.
What's the line on that game?
3.5.
And Seahawks favored by 3.5. So they're basically saying it's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
That's a tough place to go and play. It's loud. Whenever the home team has a great defense, I think that's more intimidating than if they have a great offense.
Yeah, but I agree. But the Seahawks offense has been so bad that while the 49ers offense has just been getting better and better, it just seems like such a discrepancy now. When you look at Russell Wilson's last 5 games, the games including the last time they played on December 8th, between then and now, Russell Wilson, 5 games, he's got like 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The team is 3-2.
Right.
He's not moving the football.
It's Marshawn Lynch. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, Marshawn Lynch is who they have to lean on because Russell Wilson, teams, I want to say this template was created by the 49ers. The 49ers used like a contain rush where they got their edge rushers upfield and never passed his upfield shoulder, so they would kind of box him in. Inside, they were really disciplined in their lanes as they were coming upfield, so they were trying to stuff the run and at the same time just create this like vice around Russell Wilson.
Right.
And when you get guys clustered around a guy who's 5'10" in the pocket,
Right.
he can't see.
Yeah.
He whether you like it or not, Russell Wilson, that is his shortcoming, no pun intended.
The prototypical great quarterback is
see.
always a taller guy.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's best when he can move the pocket, he can roll out, and when teams are stopping him from doing that, he's not finding receivers downfield, not only because he's short, but also because his receivers without Percy Harvin, they're not getting any separation from defenders at all.
He's not 100%. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Harvin isn't nearly what he was.
Right. But and if he comes back, the 49ers will decapitate him.
So Niners Pats
That's what I think because
in 2-degree weather. What do you think?
I think
2 degree-
Broncos.
So you think Broncos, Sam? But you're forwarding it now to Jersey in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
February 2nd.
let's go the whole
Yeah,
way.
you know what? I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
Really?
And I hate doing it. Seriously, that's an easy team to go against. I have no love for Bill Belichick, but
See, I
they're
like
just-
Belichick. I mean,
Do
I know
you?
he's done a lot of crazy things, but he's a competitor.
He's a
Sure,
miraculous coach.
I mean, sure, he's a filthy cheat. But,
Yeah.
you know, no, the guy's a competitor. I like Belichick. I always have. And I like Bob Kraft. The guy paid me a lot of money to do stand-up at his kid's birthday.
Yeah.
So, you know, and gave me a ride on a private jet. How am I going to like that? No, not going to like that guy.
I'll tell you what. I looked at the Patriots' last couple games. You know, now that LeGarrette Blount has been just destroying people.
You know,
their running back.
There's
He's
so many
huge.
great names. I miss Pat Summerall. LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah. LeGarrette Blount.
Percy. What's his last name? Percy?
Harvin.
Percy Harvin. Gain of 3.
Yeah.
LaDainian Clowney. No. Sardavian Clowney. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by Alice. And the 60 Minutes Sunday night movie, A Child's Rage, the Jessica Connor story, starring Meredith Baxter Birney. And here's our interview with Hob Franian Clowney.
There was a time when she was in every Sunday night movie. Too.
Yeah,
Like he promoted her every single
All
week.
right.
Yeah.
Meredith Baxter Birney stars as a battered woman. And I Want My Kids, damn it. Starring Meredith Birney Baxter and Lafranian Clowney. Where's Pat Summerall when you need the... He was great with those names. What do you think about Clamtanian Clowney? What do you think's gonna happen?
No, wait. I want to talk about LeGarrette Blount first.
Oh, sure. I don't know if it's a John Ritchie show.
Yeah,
but
we
right
got to
now-
go back. We got to rewind.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
LeGarrette Blount, which is an impressive name. He's an
LeGarrette
impressive
Blount.
guy. He's 250 pounds. He just outran the entire Colts secondary last week.
I know.
on a
Yeah,
massive.
You're right.
But when I went back and I watched the way that they're blocking this stuff, and I tell you what, that O-line, like if the Patriots do make it to the Super Bowl, and I don't think they will, but if they do, I think they have the best chance against the 49ers if the 49ers make it as well. Because that offensive line of the Patriots, they love run blocking because they never used to get to do it the way they like to. If you're an offensive lineman, you want to run block. You don't want to be skipping backwards and playing
You don't like
patty
pass
cake.
protection.
No, you want to just stick your head in people's chests.
You want to be a pulling
and
guard?
blow them off the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these linemen, they're nasty, and now all of a sudden, they've been running the ball like at a 63% clip. Running the ball 63% of the time in the last 2 games. Last 3 games, 62% of the time. If they get to do that, and the way they're blocking, it shows how much they like it. Because
Yeah.
they're killing people.
Right.
Like they're not just moving guys. They're like decimating them and like knocking helmets off and like blowing them into the air. It's crazy.
Blowing them into the
Like they're
air.
blocking them and people were coming off their feet and falling backwards. It's awesome. And then, you know, LeGarrette Blount, it has to be a pretty big hole for a 250-pound tailback.
An enormous hole.
They're making these massive holes, and he's taking advantage of it.
Tonight on the CBS Sunday night movie Massive Holes, starring LeGarrette Blount and Harfanian Howley. Steve in the tri-state area around the air. Steve,
Hey, what's up, Artie?
what's up, buddy?
I loved Mike's weather bit yesterday.
Great.
Did you see today's?
Oh, thank you, buddy.
No, I didn't see it today.
Oh,
I missed it.
even better.
The thing I love the most, though, is every time that the camera pans right for Marty, you don't see Mike's enormous neck.
Do you have any criticism to how it could get better? Do you have any thoughts on making it a better bit?
Maybe try not to act dumb. If you're already dumb, you don't need to act it. You play it up too much.
Oh,
Mike, this guy Steve, it sounds like it's your old nemesis Steve, and he's all over you, Mike. He's saying you're already dumb. Why act dumb?
Well, you know what, buddy? A lot of people with dumb want some great awards, some cash, you know, whatever it takes to make it in this. Don't hate.
The Stooges and stuff, they were comic geniuses.
Brilliant.
And they were acting dumb.
They were acting.
You're a
They were
retard
genius.
that's acting more dumb.
John Ritter.
Different.
He's saying that but he's saying those people were really smart acting dumb. You're dumb. That's what he's saying.
that's awful. That's not
Whatever.
true.
It is that act dumb. You're a retard that acts dumber. You knew where Texas and New Mexico were.
Let me tell you something, buddy. The word retard is your first name. If you want to start with me now. because-
Actually, it's Steve.
yeah, Steve's the
it's
retard.
Steve. But Steve,
Instead
remember,
of Gary the retard from the
Steve-
Howard Stern show.
Steve is
thoughts?
competitive for your job. Remember, Steve wants to come sit in your chair.
Well, good luck, buddy. Take the train in. See what happens.
How about this? I'll box it for you.
Yeah, I'll wrestle you for it, buddy. Anytime. I'm ready to rock.
Wrestling. I'm not putting on tights and getting.
No,
on the
buddy.
floor.
No, buddy. But I'll have you in the chokehold before you know it, so don't worry.
Wow, Steve.
Enormous
Sounds like a
fucking
street fight.
It is
Well, yeah,
boxing
that's
gloves,
That's a
buddy.
Rocky Five.
How about I just put you in a chokehold and you'll be crying like a little in the ladies' room after the show?
Dude, I'll do whatever you want, dude. But I'll be boxing like an American.
Oh, okay. So,
Buddy, and I'll have you in a chokehold like an American as well.
but he's
I
saying
don't
if
care.
it's boxing rules, you're not allowed to
Whatever,
choke.
boxing, schmoxing, whatever. Let's just say get it on.
Get
Wow.
on the floor with you homo. I know
No,
you're playing.
buddy, if maybe you're the king of homos. I don't know.
You're the queen. 'Cause you're taking it.
So are you, buddy. Go into the Holland Tunnel and get some whores.
I can't wait till your mom slips washing that enormous, nice, hacky.
You know what, buddy? Mention my mom and I'll snap your neck wherever you are. Don't you dare mention family, jerk off.
Burn your house down. I'll burn your fucking house down.
Oh, right.
I got that on there, buddy.
Not Steve.
Oh no!
Hang
You know
on.
what, buddy? The minute you do that, I will shoot your face off. How's that? You'll be shot on sight, douchebag.
We hung up on Steve. Steve crossed the line. Steve.
No, but you know what, though? I would fucking...
Oh!
How dare you?
I'd like to snap that goddamn douchebag's neck.
Mike, you keep
You can't
cursing.
say that.
You can't say GD, and you can't
I'd
say
like to
F.
snap that
Person.
butt wipe's neck.
All right.
There you go.
But he's just trying to get a rise out of you, Mike. He's not going to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, he said it on the air, though. If he does anything...
Oh, my, he's not.
That
Mike.
means it's gonna
But
happen.
He will not. He
That
will
punk
not.
said it on the air. I'll tell you one thing.
I promise you right
I
now.
will smack his face off until
No
it
one-
drops.
no one-
Butt wipe. It's by my house.
No one's going to do that to you. No one's going to.
Oh,
He doesn't
I
know
don't
where
care.
you live.
You know, if I'm telling you, he threatened me. He's going to be sorry.
He's not going to do it. No one's going to do anything. Mike.
Yeah, he was just.
Let's just take a break. Calm down. I'm sorry I let Brent's cousin call in. He
I'll
said-
go through my mafia phone book. I don't even care.
I tell you, he does that. I'll make a couple of phone calls myself.
Yeah.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.